Many of us know that we come to this world as volunteers. We understand that we are souls upon a planet that desperately needs help. But what is the best way that we are able to wield our light and commit to service where lack is replaced by the loving energy of light? Find out in this next episode of New Earth Teachings. Hello, I'm Brad Johnson, and welcome to the next episode of New Earth Teachings. And in this episode, we're going to be talking more about wielding the light. And where this begins involves our journey as a soul. Now, as a soul, we are travelers. When we enter God's universe, as I've talked about before in a previous episode, we explore the nature of life throughout whatever the universe wants to align with us through our own particular form of personality magnetism. And so we have been on many different worlds. We have been in many different dimensions. We've been in different galaxies, different stars. And when we come to Earth, it is indeed a very, very special planet. The reason why Earth is so very special is because it is the only planet in the entire universe that was actually created by God, Him or Herself. And so when we come to Earth, we are looking at the most intelligent, we are looking at the most dynamic, we are looking at the most diverse planet in all of the universe, because everything that exists within the universe can be found here on Earth. And so as souls, when the human race was brought to this planet, we were delivered here. And we started to work together with the earth, with nature, with the animals, with the plants, with the elements, with other fellow beings as well too, that were also residing within the second and third density. We knew that there was indeed a very important amount of work to do here, because humanity really had the innovations. They really had the broad spectrum of contrast and of experience to come here and to begin creating, manifesting, and perceiving this world as gods in training. But of course, we fast forward all of the ancient time up into this particular moment now, into the modern age. And what has happened? We have felt that we have been misguided. We have felt that we have given so much of our power to others that feel that they want to have this feeling of immortality, of eternity, because they have worked to create such a program, an allotment of systems on this planet, that they want to feel like they are in charge, and just to have many of us give our power to them. So through this course that has been running for thousands of years, relating to false programs, artificial systems, empires, rulership, governments, religions, there have been those that have come through here on this planet as volunteers to once again wield their light. And in order for us to wield our light, we must firstly look at the system that we know no longer applies to us. We know that there is no longer a need for a system pertaining to war, that we do not require systems that completely milk the planet of resources and basically abuse her. We are understanding that as soon as we come here on this planet, pretty much all of us know that what these systems represent is absolutely and totally wrong. It is a falsity. It is corruption to the bone. And so what do? How do we wield our light? How do we bring in that torch, light it up, and start lighting up this darkness that has been on the planet for a very, very long time? Well, a lot of it has to do with unity. It has to do with coming together. It's not about being a lone wolf. It's not about thinking that you are Mr. Solo or Mrs. Solo, and you are trying to tackle all of the world's problems by yourself. The world itself, in that aspect of perspective, would drown you. You want to work together with others. You want to share your light with others. You want to help others. You want to assist others. You want to expose what has been harsh, what has been corrupting, what has been catastrophic and tragic for ourselves, for our planet, for all of civilization. And so for us to come here and to wield our light, there needs to be that aspect of compassion. There needs to be that love. There needs to be that willingness, that commitment to know that we, each and every single one of us, are the ones that are going to be bringing change. So whenever we come to this world, what we're noticing firstly is lack. There is so much lack in this world. And there are very few of us who are actually able to overcome that lack and start bringing love towards the entire situation. Where many of us have our 9-to-5 jobs and we're too busy paying the rent and our bills and looking after our kids, looking after our parents, whatever it may be. We create all of these constant distractions within ourselves to feel that my day is so busy and I don't really have time to do any kind of inner work. I don't have time to do any particular type of inner development. Well, when is that time going to come? Is it going to come tomorrow, next week, next month, next year? Because as long as you continue to put it off, you're continuing to put so much of your energy to the outside of this reality. And history has certainly shown that people who have become wise teachers, wise mystics, wise sages, who have become these really amazing people that we all look up to, have been people who have done their inner work, people who have done their inner development. If we look at someone like Jesus, don't even need to tell his story. With all the inner work that he was able to do, becoming a Christed being. And through that one Christed being, he was the most popular person on our planet and still is today. That is showing the power of our inner work. That's showing the power of our inner development. What did he do? He helped others. He was compassionate. He was loving. He spoke of the Father. He spoke of God. He spoke about entering the kingdom of heaven. His words became truth. Everybody heard his words and were compelled to wanting to serve alongside of him. Well, this is what each and every single one of us can become. Each of us can become Christed beings. If we look back into what the indigenous, what the ancient people have been able to accomplish, all of it involved the idea of looking at the suffering of the world and being able to transform that suffering into the state of compassion and love by transmuting themselves from within. You can't do it outside. You have to go within yourself. You have to go into the inside. You have to look into what your emotions are saying about yourself, about others, about the planet. What about your thoughts? What about your beliefs? Are they serving you, or are they causing more disharmony? Are they causing corruption? Are they causing greed? Are they causing the 3 traumas of abandonment, rejection, and abuse? So in order for us to pick up our torch and light it, and not just see this fine little flame, but a raging infernal flame that lights up the entire space around us, we are now going to have this light, see others that have fallen upon the ground as well too, and offer them a hand, picking them up and saying, here, I'm here to help you. I'm here to assist. I'm working with my compassion. I'm working with my love. I'm working with forgiveness. And that is the true nature of the volunteer soul. The volunteer soul that comes to this planet is looking for one of the greatest challenges they have ever experienced. And Earth holds that greatest challenge. It's not one of the most challenging places in all of the universe. It is the most challenging place in all of the universe. There is no other planet that holds as many challenges, that holds as much diversity, that has as much contrast as the Earth does. Because the Earth is the very first planet of its kind, which means all other Earth planets that are within our galaxy and in other galaxies, they were all contrived through the original Earth. And that's what this planet represents. Our Earth is much more ancient than we believe. It's more than just a couple of billion years old. You may want to add an extra couple of billion years to it as well too. It is an ancient world. One of the most beautiful worlds that we can see, and the very first Earth planet of its kind. And so there were creator gods, other forms of architects that really just loved what the Creator was able to create through this planet and wanted to create their own version of Earths. And so here we are, throughout this infinite cosmos, looking at millions, even billions of Earths that exist throughout our galaxy, and of course, many others that will exist in other galaxies that we will one day discover as well too. But it all started here. We could basically say that the Earth is the center of the universe. Now, it's not referring to that as a means of location, but it represents its nature. It represents that the Earth herself is so precious, is the original gemstone of the Earth-like worlds, or of course, the Earth worlds, that has started this chain reaction for many other cosmic architects, creator gods, to create other worlds like Earth. But even when you go onto these Earths, you will not find as much diversity and contrast as the original Earth has. Other creator gods, other divine architects have not been able to reproduce that. They have not been able to make an Earth world as dynamic, diverse, and contrasting as this Earth. And so this is why we as volunteer souls want to come to the original blueprint. We want to come to the original Earth. We want to explore this vast, diverse world full of contrast, because Earth has no limits. You can basically do absolutely anything you want here. And of course, that has certainly shown itself by a lot of the corruption and greed and abandonment, rejection, abuse, the trauma. A lot of the quote-unquote negative scale has shown, but also a positive scale. Love, harmony, contribution, community, unity. All of that is also available as well too. That's what makes Earth so unique. It truly is a world stage. And we are coming here to help tip the scales a little bit more, moving more into a state of equality. And again, that comes through our own inner development. We have to look into ourselves. We have to look into the emotions, into the traumas, into the belief systems that we hold. And we want to convince ourselves to let go of those traumas, of those beliefs, of those heavy, dense emotions and thoughts that we don't prefer. We are the ones that are holding our own key and pointing to that gate and saying, oh, well, there's the gate to heaven. It's just over here. I have the key, but every time I go towards the lock, the key keeps falling out of my hand. I keep picking it up and it keeps falling and it keeps falling because I don't feel I deserve to open that gate to heaven, because I am completely shrouded by the understandings of feeling that I am too traumatized, that I'm not good enough, that I only make myself this big, that I don't deserve to walk up those stairs and go into the state of heaven. You become your own worst enemy, and you become your own salvation as well too. You have to convince yourself, what can I do to wield my light? What can I do to broaden my horizons, to expand my love? Well, it starts with love, appreciation, compassion, and joy towards the self. You have to work on yourself. And as you work upon yourself, now you're able to do the true service. And that is working together with others, helping them. Because that is going to be the stepping stone that is going to help other people to realize, hey, there's a gate here the whole time. There's a key in my hand the whole time. And now that I'm receiving this insight, this perspective from another that I didn't realize existed, I'm now starting to see the value in the work that I can do in my own state of inner development. So I'm going to start loving myself. I'm going to start forgiving myself. I'm going to start bringing compassion. But of course, one of the big things is, well, what about my family? What about my friends? What about my coworkers, my acquaintances? What's going to happen to them? Are they going to be able to walk this path as well too? Are you being the example of love? Because that's all you're here to do. Once you take care of yourself, you're becoming the love example. You're becoming a compassionate example. You're not concerned about if another person makes it or not. You're just enjoying being who you are, because that's your natural, authentic self to be, is loving, compassionate, helpful, and working together in a unity state of consciousness. So you are all about raising up frequency. You are all about lifting your love state right up to the sky. All you can do is be on display for people to see that, for them to witness this. What they do with that is completely up to them. Why? Because they have free will, just as you have free will. We're not here to shove all this stuff down a person's throat, because again, that's not going to work. You simply will be identified as a dictator, a tyrant within their life, because you're trying to force all these things down a person's throat. That's not how we wield our light. We wield our light just by continuing to be on display, by being the example, because this is our authentic being. We're being true to ourselves. We're not putting on masks. We're not in conflict. We're not creating harm. We are being our true, authentic, natural selves. And that true, authentic, natural self is not always going to be about the idea of coughing out rainbows, right? Or basically feeling that they have angels' wings and are sitting on a cloud playing a harp. There's going to be times where you are going to be challenged. You are going to be challenged, and you are still going to have your emotions. You're going to be sad. You're going to be angry. You're going to be upset. But the difference is, you are not attaching identity to those factors anymore. You have grown yourself to realize that, yes, I can still be sad, I can still be happy, I can still be dancing around, I can still be miserable at times. But I'm not allowing that to feel like that is my identity. I still have feelings, I still have emotions, because feelings and emotions aren't the problem. It's the identity complex. It's when we identify with feeling that, oh, I'm angry or I'm upset about this person, and now we dive into the story relating to the drama surrounding that emotion. But that, again, is only going to lead us back to square one. We want to completely transcend these ideas of identity. So you are not here to think that it's wrong to feel emotions, that it's wrong to feel feelings, that it's wrong to have thoughts. Not at all. If that was wrong, you wouldn't be able to do it. It's the idea of seeing the silver lining between everything that you do. And the more love that you are putting towards yourself and balancing everything out pertaining to the silver lining, where yes, you have thoughts, you have feelings, you have emotions, you have a personality, you have a behavior, but you're no longer sensing them to be identity. This is one who can truly wield the light. And they wield the light because they work together in bringing harmony to themselves and harmony to the others, to everybody else that they work with. And that is what you're here to do. You've put yourself on this platform and you're raising yourself up to heaven. You're walking on clouds. And as long as you continue to stay up there and you serve love and you serve harmony, you serve spirit, you're going to continue to walk on those clouds. So you're going to continue to bring other people in your life that are on that equal playing field, that are on that equal level as you. You will start to reach a personal state of ascension. And this ascension simply relates to the idea of following the Creator's path, following a path of true love. That's what you're here to do. That's how we wield our light. We do the inner work. We become compassionate, loving, forgiving, and nurturing people. And we put ourselves on display. We share ourselves with the world. Because we're not here to feel like we have to take pity on them. We're just showing this is where I am, and if you want to come and join me, I can show you what you can do so that you can start walking up here with me as well too. It is always about the idea of that softness. Again, we're not shoving anything down a person's throat, because that's not wielding light. That's wielding shadow. And that represents a state of identity. I've changed, so they have to change. No. That's, again, a state of shadow. That's a state of identity. Just be yourself and offer compassion and love wherever you go. And if you feel that's too much, then just do no harm and continue to elevate yourself as you continue to be that prime, shining example of one who has wielded their light. Please feel free to check out newearthteachings.com, private sessions, digital courses, blog, media, and a lot more. newearthteachings.com. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll speak to you again in the next video. Namaste.